All right, let's start with the good coming out of the weekend. Kim Mulkey is the LSU women's basketball coach, formerly of Baylor, highly controversial. The media's been after her for a very long time. They wrote some hit pieces about her in recent days. Washington Post had one and elsewhere. But I got to give Kim Mulkey credit. On this Easter Monday, I want to play for you something that she said in her post-game press conference over the weekend when she was asked about prayer within and around her team, how she handles it, and here's what she said.
Dan Zakrzewski, Outkick.com. Coach, do you have any plans tomorrow, either personally or with the team, to celebrate the Easter holiday?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every Sunday, if it wasn't Easter, we have devotion. We have devotion as a team. And every morning and every noon and every dinner meal, each kid is asked to pray. And we don't have a room full of Baptists, Methodists, we have Muslims, we have Jewish kids, we have all walks of life. And we respect whatever prayer they want to say. So to answer your question, you better believe that we will do that. Thank you for asking that.
That was Kim Mulkey, LSU women's coach. I'm sure someone's going to try to sue her because now she's at a public school, not at Baylor, where she was and made her name, which was a private school or is a private school. But it's refreshing to hear that, is it not? From a major college coach, major coach on any level. You get some of it, you don't get nearly enough of it, and it's refreshing to hear that from somebody of Kim Mulkey's stature. The bad from the weekend. Yesterday was Easter. But if you were to ask the President of the United States, he was more interested in celebrating Transgender Day of Visibility, which is every March 31st since 2009, another just made-up holiday. But yesterday, Joe Biden put up two different social media posts on Easter Sunday. The one at 7:45 in the morning read as follows: "To all those gathering in churches and homes around the world today, Happy Easter. May God bless and keep you." That's it. Just a couple of sentences from old Gramps. Then at 11 a.m., 3.5 hours later, we got this from Joe Biden. "On Transgender Day of Visibility, we celebrate the joy, strength, and absolute courage of some of the bravest people I know." Do you think Joe really knows hangs around any transgender people outside of his health services person? I forget what that person's name is out of Pennsylvania.
I wanted to say Rachel Levine, but that's not the right name.
No, it is. It is Levine.
Okay.
Yeah, Rachel Levine. Good job there, John. All right, go home for the day. You got you did your duty. He goes on the right here. "Today we show millions of transgender and non-binary Americans that we see them. They belong, and they should be treated with dignity and respect." And then there's a big graphic that says trans rights are human rights, and it's got the Biden-Harris logo on it. Their social media post for a made-up holiday, Transgender Day of Visibility, has more love and more attention than his Happy Easter post does. That tells you all you need to know about their priorities. Joe Biden spent more time waxing poetic about the courage and bravery of people who think they're a different gender than he did Jesus Christ yesterday. Put that into some perspective for the man who insists he's nothing but a devout Catholic. Even by his standards, that's pretty low. And that's not an anti-trans comment by any stretch. You can allow people to be who they want to be, I guess, while also realizing doing it on Easter Sunday is a slap in the face to 200 million Christians that reside in this country. That's the bad from the weekend. The ugly from the weekend. And I use this in a roundabout way to explain this as ugly. It was actually very impressive what Stephanie Diller had to say. She is the spouse of Jonathan Diller, New York City police officer who died in a traffic stop shooting about a week ago. I'm putting this in the ugly because of what she had to say at the end. It was very powerful what Stephanie Diller had to say at her husband's funeral over the weekend, but it's ugly that it's gotten to this point where she has to make somewhat political statements like she made here during this eulogy.
It's hard to imagine how long I have to wait to see Jonathan again. The doors to heaven open for me one day. I hope to see Jonathan standing there looking at me just like he did on our wedding day. My husband died a hero, but he also lived as one. Our world will never be the same. but I know I speak for everyone when I say I could not be more proud of him. It's been 2 years and 2 months since Detective Rivera and Detective Mora made the ultimate sacrifice, just like my husband, Jonathan Diller. Dominique Rivera stood in front of all the elected officials present today pleading for change. That change never came, and now my son will grow up without his father. I will grow old without my husband, and his parents have to say goodbye to their child. How many more police officers and how many more families need to make the ultimate sacrifice before we start protecting them? I don't wish this kind of pain on anyone. Jonathan lived his life doing good for people, and it's now time for people to do good for all the officers he represents.
And just the regular people that are sick of living in a society not knowing how many scumbags and thugs are in their presence. And the guy that allegedly shot and killed Jonathan Diller was arrested 21 times and had 9 felonies on his record. And he was out in the streets. And you have examples of this in New York, in LA, in Kansas City, and around the country. And people are starting to wake up. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly, and God bless Stephanie Diller and her family and her 1-year-old son this morning.